Today, we've got Newcastle looking at Arsenal for a massive transfer answer, with Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard both linked after the Muñoz blow. One is explosive, one is ruthless, and this window could turn very quickly. Subscribe because this one might get messy. According to the lads over at Court Offside, we've held talks over a possible move for Arsenal winger Gabriel Martinelli, with Arsenal previously said to value him at around £50 million. And I'm telling you now, Howe, don't sleep on this one, because after missing out on Victor Muñoz to Liverpool, it'd be easy for people to panic and go, here we go again, another target gone, another window getting messy. But here's the thing. Martinelli is not some cheap little backup idea. He's not just a name you throw on the board because Muñoz changed his mind. For me, Martinelli is a bigger, sharper, more proven Premier League swing. And honestly, man, that matters. Muñoz might have had pace, he might have had energy, fair enough. But we're talking about a lad from Osasuna who got 6 goals and 2 assists in La Liga last season. Martinelli has already shown he can hurt Premier League defenders. He's already had a 15-goal Premier League season. He already knows the speed, the pressure, the noise, the nasty away grounds, the physical fullbacks, the whole lot. That's massive, that is. Now look, I'm not pretending he's been flying every week at Arsenal. He hasn't. He's had a quieter spell, and anyone who watches football can see that. But sometimes, a player doesn't need writing off. Sometimes he needs a new role, a new crowd, a new fire behind him. And imagine Martinelli running towards the Gallowgate end, the whole of SJP roaring, the northeast cold-biting, lads in the strawberry before kick-off saying, "This is the one, give him the shirt. Let him go at people." That's what excites me. Because at Arsenal, he can look like one piece in their machine. At Newcastle, he could feel like a weapon. The mad part is, people will say, "Oh, but he only scored once in the league from 11 starts this season." Aye, fair. But form is temporary when the talent is that obvious. Jurgen Klopp once called him a talent of the century. And while I'm not saying we build a statue for the Gadgie, I'm saying there's a reason top football people have always seen something dangerous in him. And that's the difference with Martinelli compared to Muñoz. Muñoz is potential. Martinelli is proof with a point to prove. That's the line, right there. Muñoz might have been the tidy idea, but Martinelli is the statement. And I reckon if we're serious about getting back up that table, if we're serious about fixing the attack, if we're serious about not repeating the mistakes of last summer, then we can't keep shopping like we're scared of our own ambition. We've got to move like a club that belongs at the top, not begging for scraps, not waiting for the self-appointed elite to decide who we're allowed to sign. We're Newcastle United. We've got St James's Park. We've got a fan base that turns a normal match into a storm. We've got a project players should want to be part of. And Martinelli, at 25, with Premier League experience, with explosiveness, with something to prove. That feels canny interesting to me. Not safe, not boring, proper interesting. Because give him the left side, give him confidence, give him that SJP roar when he beats his man once, twice, and cuts inside. Then, suddenly, we're not talking about replacing what we lost. We're talking about upgrading the whole mood of our attack. So here's my question to Newcastle fans. Would you rather we chase raw potential like Victor Muñoz, or should we stop messing about and go all in for Gabriel Martinelli, a proven Premier League winger who could absolutely explode at St James's Park? The lads over at Court Offside are saying we've made direct contact with Arsenal over a possible deal for Leandro Trossard, with Besiktas also interested, and the Turkish side apparently willing to go to around £17 million, while Arsenal want more. And look, I know what some of you are thinking straight away. Trossard? 31? Is that really the move? But honestly, man, don't dismiss this one too quickly. Because after Muñoz chose Merseyside, and after Liverpool have once again found a way to get under our skin, we've got to be smart here. Not emotional for the sake of it. Smart. And Trossard might be exactly that. Right, so Muñoz had the pace. He had the energy. He had that young winger excitement where everyone imagines him flying down the pitch, boots flashing, fullback panicking, crowd getting louder. But here's the thing. Excitement doesn't always win you matches. End product does. And Trossard has got end product. Ian Wright called him Arsenal's best finisher, and you can see why. He's not always the loudest player on the pitch. He's not always doing step-overs for clips. He's not one of those lads who needs 20 touches to look dangerous. He just gets it. One touch, half a yard, bang. That's the difference. Muñoz gives you hope. Trossard gives you end product. And I reckon that matters massively for us right now. Because we're not in a place where we can waste another window hoping everything magically clicks. We've seen what happens when the recruitment gets messy. We've seen how quickly a season can turn heavy when the squad isn't properly balanced. And we'll always have Wembley. We battered Liverpool in that Carabao Cup final, and don't let anyone make that feel small. That was sacred for us. First trophy since 1955, man. That day will live forever. But football doesn't stop because we've had one belt a day at Wembley. We need to push again. Now look, Trossard isn't the long-term shiny toy. He's not 17 with a highlight reel and a fan base dreaming about what he might become. He's a grown-up footballer, a clever one, a nasty one in the final third. Since joining Arsenal from Brighton for £27 million, he started 76 Premier League matches and scored 37 goals in that spell. That's not guesswork. That's not vibes. That's a player who knows this league, knows the rhythm, knows how to punish defenders when the chance comes. And what gets me is this. We keep talking about replacing raw pace, but maybe what we actually need is composure. A player who can play left wing, through the middle, behind the striker, wherever the gaffer needs him. A player who doesn't panic when the ball drops in the box. A player who could walk into St. James Park, feel that Gallowgate roar, and not shrink. Because SJP can lift you, but it can also test you. The noise, the pressure, the expectation, the cold air cutting through the city on match day. Some players love that. Some players disappear. Trossard doesn't strike me as the type to disappear. Adam Keyes called him one of the smartest players in the league and a mentality monster, and I can see why Arsenal fans would say that. He's not chaos, he's control, he's timing, he's movement, he's that annoying little half-space player defenders hate because he's already moved before they've even turned their head. And compare that with Muñoz. 6 goals and 2 assists in La Liga last season. Not terrible, not embarrassing, but is that enough for what we need right now? I'm not sure. Actually, no. I'm really not sure. Because we don't just need a runner. We need someone who can decide matches. Someone who can turn 0-0 into 1-0 without needing the whole attack to be perfect. Someone who can come off the left, drift inside, and make the keeper pick it out the net before the defender has even realised he's been done. That's why this Trossard link is canny interesting. It might not make everyone jump out their seat at first, but sometimes the smartest signing isn't the loudest one. Sometimes it's the one that makes you go 6 months later, that was clever. And if Arsenal are genuinely open to doing business because they're chasing another left-sided attacker, then we need to be alive to it. We can't sit there letting Besiktas have a free run while we're still licking our wounds over Muñoz. Her way. We're Newcastle United. We've got to move like a club with ambition, not like a club waiting for permission from the old guard. So here's the question for Newcastle fans. Would you rather we signed the younger hype in Victor Muñoz, or is Leandro Trossard actually the smarter, nastier signing because he'd give us goals straight away?
Perfect.